or vice versa, Kate. We've got to be really careful about our representations and how we create them, because we can also feed into denial. Not all projects, just because they are recreating or representing the Holocaust, are necessarily going to be accurate, done well, or done efficaciously. And we don't want to leave the door open to deniers to walk straight in. So we have to be really careful about how we go about this.
Absolutely. Thanks for pointing that out, Stephen. And then Paul, and then Clarissa.
So two things. Any mistake we make feeds deniers, right? So this is why we have to be so careful in how we advance this domain. And that's also why I'm pleading everyone to really try to work from this multidisciplinary perspective, also bringing in scientific grounding of what we do, because we cannot afford mistakes. The costs are really huge, eroding credibility of this history. That's why I brought up earlier this whole point of also communicating uncertainty. And however, that's also where I think space is in some sense helping us, because at least physical space has an undeniability to it. Of course, people might still deny what happened in that location, but space and its physicality and possibly some archaeological traces can already ground an understanding that at least people have to admit something significant happened in that location, right? So this is where, yes, this is an active challenge we all face, but that's another argument why I think we have to reclaim the historical sites, because this is, I think, the most solid way. I'm not saying it solves the whole issue, but at least it is a very concrete, also literally concrete contribution to grounding that history. And that's what I meant earlier with this question around ground truth. I know for historians and people who study memory, the notion of ground truth sounds very scary and almost dilettantist, but I think we do have to commit ourselves to what's the ground truth of this canon of history, because it's that ground truth that we have to really solidify and systematically communicate.
Thank you very much. And Clarissa, this is the final, you lead the conversation on the way up.
To keep it succinct, I will simply echo the call for interdisciplinary collaboration early and throughout the processes. What has been said about testing with end users, learners, frequently as formative assessment, and that the more we are educating those who engage with us in the art of understanding, interpreting, and turning to primary sources and understanding how history itself is a mediated act, the better we can equip future generations not to fall prey to fairy tale arguments and pernicious forms of denial, anti-Semitism, and racism.